Shortly after midnight on Tuesday, a fire believed to have been caused by an electrical short circuit literally changed the lives of the 36 wards of the state. It claimed the lives of two of them, both teenagers, and left the others traumatized, seeking a new safe place to call home. A neighbor who said he witnessed the blaze told Frontline News what he saw.
Basically, is the wire. The wire will lead from the light post come over here. Is that cause it? Because the wire burned, crisp together, corroded together. So it caused everything for short out over here.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness visited the location Tuesday afternoon along with his wife Juliette Holness and Minister of State Senator Floyd Green. First, the Prime Minister spoke with the firemen on location, posing several questions to them.
Children who perished, was it that they were in a part of the building where they just couldn't be rescued, or the fire just overtook them very quickly?
At the time when we got the call and responded, the fire was well advanced.
Oh.
So due to the structure, the age of the building, and the whole the partitions, and the type of furniture, layout, that will impact on the response there.
And was this building checked before, in your regular fire checks? Would it have passed?
Regular fire check was done on this building, because we have been inspecting this building from 1975 until now.
Yes.
So our regular checks and certification has been issued into this building before.
And you are aware that the appropriate fire drills were done and that they had a fire escape plan, and all of that would have been in place?
Well, based on what we have seen so far and what we have done with them, because we have done some outreach program with them over the time, we have come and we have speak to them on fire safety, and we practice 1 and 2 fire drills with them before. So there was a plan in place in terms of fire safety for the children here.
We have to step up our preparedness for these things, and Minister, you may have to increase your vigilance in all our children's homes and places of safety, just to ensure that those procedures are in place, because they may very well save lives.
He then spoke with the media, indicating that the government will ensure that places of safety, as their name suggests, are in fact safe places.
Minister Green is already mobilized to ensure that these children will have accommodation of an appropriate standard. Minister Green, you will explain the steps that you have already taken?
Yeah, well, we've already identified 3 homes which we will use to house the children. They're already in our existing child protection facilities. Clearly what we have started today is to start the counseling sessions with our children, ensure that they're in a state of mind that they can move, and that's very, very important to us. But the plan is to move them today, and we have identified a suitable accommodation.
It was then on to the nearby church, the Shiloh Apostolic, to visit the 34 who were gratefully spared from the inferno, where, according to one of the policemen, there were a lot of crying. Robert Williams, Regional Director of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, spoke with the Prime Minister about what would have brought some of the children to the home in the first place.
They were detained, meaning some form of abuse, some kind of neglect, so they are before the court. So once the court matter is finalized, then we'll decide what would happen to those children.
So the biological parents or the former parents, some of them have actually come?
Yeah, man. Some of them are
very good, very good, very good.
They're not in a position to take the child at this particular time, but some of them are in touch. So they understand their situation, so they are in touch with us. So some of them, we work very close with them because we know they can't take, so we continue to care for their children.
And how are you dealing with the grief management? And
well, this morning we brought in our psychological unit, the Smiles Mobile. So some of them are still here, one of our psychologists, and we have some children officers who have training in that area. So we have been using that kind of therapy. And the police chaplaincy came as well.
Very good. I noticed that some of the officers are here.
Yes, they have been in and out since morning. So we have been having great support from the church, from CDA, from the community, from friends of the facility. So that kind of trauma, emergency trauma therapy has been going on since morning.
You're detecting
He also explained the process of assisting the children with the impact of the trauma.
And some of them are sad because they lost everything. So some of them said, sir, all I have is gone. So we still have to console them. We know it's loss, it's grief. So the older children will understand quite well what is happening. And so those we have to be dealing with. So we had a session with those older children this morning. But we have to continue to have the session because some of them were close to those who didn't make it up to the fair.
The Prime Minister also used the time to speak to some of the children who were housed at the church hall. There was also time for some hugging from the Prime Minister and his wife. The fire here at 17 Linders Crescent has burnt the hearts of many. As the nation collectively mourn the deaths of 2 wards of the state, much have been promised to restore the lives of the 34 others who have been traumatized. For them, many, this is their home, their playground and their school. Relationships, friendships and memories were formed here. Here at the scene, Cody and Barrett, Frontline News.